kind of like off the topic video, guys, but it kind of falls into my whole prepper survivalist type of way of thinking, and why I do videos and stuff, telling people about prepping and stuff. Yeah, from some very disturbing news from the scientific community, guys, that has just been put out there by leading scientists and astrophysicists about a near Earth body object that has entered our solar system, guys. It's very interesting. It's acting like no other comet that they've ever researched. I know we had that whole Umama near Earth body comet that came into our solar system about a year or two ago. That really they had to like really rewrite everything they knew about comets and stuff. And it missed Earth, but it came from a whole ass other solar system into our own solar system, because we were always used to like our own comets like Hellbop and several other comets that we know about, but literally, I don't know if you guys have heard the news. It's like really interesting. They found this near Earth body object that entered our solar system that is traveling almost at the speed of light, that has entered our solar system, that is acting like no other comet that we've ever seen before throughout history. It doesn't give off gas like most comets do. It's literally glowing. And then you got the leading scientist of all scientists, of astrophysicists, coming out, who basically worked for the Reagan administration, the Clinton administration for decades. He's a Harvard graduated fucking astrophysicist that has literally came out and said that it's unlike anything that has ever been seen before. It doesn't act like a comet. Its trajectory is erratic and basically alien. What I'm talking about, guys, is the near Earth body. They think it's a comet, but this guy's coming out. If this guy's ringing bells about this thing, warning bells about it, you guys got to take it basically seriously. His name is Avi Loeb. If you guys never heard of this guy, you need to look him up. This guy's written like 9 books on fucking, it's like literally the guy who wrote the book on extraterrestrial life. He was the guy that was heading the space program's extraterrestrial life research for decades for the government. Ringing alarm bells that this might be an extraterrestrial ship, because it's bigger than any comet they've ever seen before. Most comets that they've found out in space were like 5, maybe 10 miles long. This thing is literally 21 miles wide and long. It's the biggest near Earth body object they've ever seen come into our solar system. And the way it's patterned, it's basically, it doesn't act like any comet they've ever seen. It doesn't give off any gas. I mean, they're literally wanting to take a probe. I think it's called Juno. They want to take an old probe that's basically obsolete, and they thought they don't need it anymore. They were just going to crash it into Jupiter. He's basically begging the American government not to crash it into fucking Jupiter, so they could take it and basically fly it in the pattern of this near Earth body that's coming past the sun. It's glowing. It's literally glowing. It doesn't give off any gas like any comet that they've ever seen. So this guy's ringing alarm bells, saying that the 3-eye Atlas comet, that's what they're calling it, a comet, but they really don't know if it's a comet or a fucking alien ship, dude. This guy's literally ringing alarm bells about this object coming close to Earth. So it's really scary. I mean, are we about to be visited by extraterrestrial life for the very first time, guys? I mean, we've been sending out probes like Voyager for years so we can get into contact with alien life, man. I mean, we may have doomed ourselves, basically, or they've been picking up our transmission signals. But they said that whatever galaxy that this came from originally took them 80 years to get here. So it probably took them 80 years to get Earth radio signals, because, by the time they get it, it's probably like 1930s radio signals, nothing new. So they know there's life over here on Earth now. They may have sent a ship to visit us. I don't know. It's a really scary fucking proposition that we're seeing right now. It's a unique time to living in. It could be a false flag. How you doing, freaking fabulous Chihuahua Mama? Your tinfoil hat out? Really? No, you. There's no need for a tinfoil hat with this. What's going on right now? You guys can do the research yourselves. It's called Three Eye Atlas. It goes by many names. We really don't know much about it, but they want to send the Juno probe, which was basically a satellite they use for deep space research. They want to move that probe to intercept and maybe do some research on it so we get a heads up of what we're dealing with. We really don't know what we're dealing with because it's the first near Earth object that they've ever seen that was this big. Because most meteorites, comets that they've seen come into the our galaxy were only like 10, 11 miles long, maybe smaller, maybe 5 miles long. This thing is literally 20 miles long. I mean, this is a huge object. It's the biggest object we've ever seen come into our galaxy, basically, through the Fermion Veil, which is our, like, you know, where all the meteors are on the outskirts of our galaxy, in the Milky Way galaxy. I'm kidding. Listening, if we were able to have visitors, I'd be the one to welcome them with open arms and a home-cooked meal. Well, you know, I mean, a lot of our, like you're trying to say, I mean, yeah, you would think they would come in peace, but, I mean, why would they travel 80 years from another solar system just to visit us in peace? That's like a one-way trip. It takes them 80 years to get here and 80 years to go somewhere else. You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, our worst fears may come true. Like, you know, literally, there's horror movies, like science fiction horror movies based on first contact going wrong. You know, I mean, TV shows for years. We really don't know why they're here, even if it is an alien craft. That's why they want to take that Juno satellite, and they want to, you know, basically research it so we know what we're dealing with. We really don't know what we're dealing with. It's emitting energy. It's not emitting, like, you know, dust clouds and, you know, like a comet does, you know, gases and stuff like that. This thing is literally emitting an alien energy. It has like a energy field around it or something, dude. I mean, but you got one of the leading scientists in the world coming out and saying that this thing might be an alien object, an extraterrestrial object coming towards Earth. You got to, you know, stand up and, you know, basically take notice, man, because this is a serious fucking situation we're in. You know, it's something that we've never seen before. Even if it isn't extraterrestrial life, it's something that, you know, as the human race, we've never seen before enter our solar system. You know what I mean? It's a very scary time, you know, to live in right now. It's crazy. Already seen a flying pyramid and gray aliens before. Did you? Did they probe you? You know, they always probe you and leave you in cornfields, you know. I've always did a lot of research on that too. You know, like the original alien, you know, abductions from the 1950s and shit, you know. How they lost all that track of time. And then whenever they went into therapy and they got hypnotized, and they remember all the events that happened, but when they got abducted, it only lasted like a few seconds, and then they were put back into their vehicles or they were put back into their homes. But, you know, there's like a whole timeline that they missed for hours, you know. I don't know. It's crazy, man. Hey, what's up, Steve Yoakum? I mean, there's plenty of abduction stories out there, I mean, of aliens visiting us and shit. I think if this is an invasion, and this is their big invasion ship that they're coming here with, They've been here before, researching us, sending small ships here to basically, if they were trying to invade us, to see our weaknesses, basically. And it might be, we're probably in a development in our time where we've evolved to a point where they either see us as a threat to the galaxy, or, I like to think it's like Star Trek, first contact. We've developed and evolved to a certain point in our evolution that they, want to do first contact. Prepare to be probed. I don't know. Video will tell you about his abduction stories. But again, it will change everything we know about the universe. Religious organizations will no longer exist. I mean, panic will ensue if they do come. It won't be the same. It will unify. I mean, like Ronald Reagan said in 1980s, he said, if an alien life came to Earth, we would settle our differences really quick and unite. And for the good or the bad, we would unite to either fight to the death, or embrace uh, the new concept of life. We are not alone in the universe. It could cause world peace. But again, we don't know until this happens. It's supposed to happen in October. So whenever it comes closest to Earth to the sun, will be around October. So if they do get the Juno satellite and its trajectory before it gets to the sun, we'll know what we're dealing with. We really don't know what we're dealing with right now with this near Earth object. It's crazy. It's some interesting times that we're living in, y'all. It's no joke. Imagine traveling light speed away to get smacked by a 300 Win Mag. Yeah, yeah, dude, Baba. It would definitely be eye-opening experience for them. I mean, we're very adaptable as a race. You know what I mean? We could probably reverse engineer their technology. I mean, they're probably more advanced than we are, probably by millions of years. We don't know. You know what I mean? But we can adapt, and we're very adaptable as a species. You know what I mean? They're not used to fighting on a planet like ours. I mean, we're literally a death world where everything wants to kill you, or you die from infections and diseases that would normally not kill most humans, might kill them. They might not be able to adapt to our atmosphere. I mean, whatever planet they came from is not like the planet that we live on. You know what I mean? If it is alien life, I'm not saying it is or it isn't, but it's definitely interesting. They like to cut. Yeah, I guess they do like to cut. Who knows? Long time no see, Zeus. Where the fuck you been around, bro? You been trolling? Trolling, rolling. Hey, you guys see Copper Cab has infested his way into the LCU, guys. He's been tearing them up over there, bro. He found his way over there, y'all. Insane. I'm skeptical. Remember Y2K panic? Yeah, it could be a false flag. We don't know, but when you got leading scientists, I don't think it is. But again, it could be a comet that we've never seen before. It might be a new type of comet that will turn science on its head. Because we've never seen anything like it before, and we probably won't see nothing like it again. Hey, Sumi, how you doing? But again, it could be a false flag, but who knows? But it's heading towards the sun, so we don't know. I mean, if it hits the sun, gets near the sun, we'll know for sure. If it turns or makes any weird, like, movement from its trajectory, we know it's extraterrestrial. That's why they want to put this whole Juno space probe near it, so they can see what the hell they're dealing with, so we get kind of like a heads up, so we can prepare, in advance what's going on, because You know, if it is extraterrestrial life, we'll have to basically prepare. It'll take weeks and weeks and weeks. But you know, they're so advanced, dude. Their weapons would probably turn our planet into glass. You know, they're probably using like highly advanced type of weapons that we've never seen before. You know, I mean, we could even we couldn't even explain them. It would be like magic almost. You know? The weapons that they have. You know. I don't know. I've always seen like videos where they found like alien technology in Afghanistan, you know, and they brought it to a United States military base, and aliens attacked the military base and blew it up. 'Cause I don't know. It's like again, it's like conspiracy shit. It's like the whole Kandahar giant thing. They that was like memed for I don't know since 2016 and 17. You know what I mean? It's just the Kandahar giant was real. What are you doing to prepare? I mean, what can you do to prepare? I mean, their technology would be so advanced you couldn't hide nowhere. I mean, we're like special needs compared to them, you know? I mean, they're if they have a technology, it would be thousands, maybe millions of years more advanced than what we have. I mean, what could you do to prepare? I mean, honestly, even if we were fighting them, it would be at great sacrifice to our own people. I mean, they would probably wipe us out. We don't know. I mean, their technology is would be off the charts, more advanced than what we have. Hope it's quick. Well, I mean, if they do come here to destroy us, that's one thing. But again, why would they? I mean, if they're that advanced, they wouldn't really need to come to this planet for anything, really. I mean, when you can mine, you know, meteorites and shit in the galaxy to get the most rare Earth minerals in the universe, water maybe. Water's not very in a lot of abundance in the liquid form. That would be the only thing I can think they could come here for is water, because everywhere else it's either in a frozen state or you have to drill. Like they say, if you want to go to Mars and you want to find water, you'd have to drill hundreds of feet under the Martian surface just to get water. I mean, maybe that's why they're here. They're coming here because the water is probably rare in the universe. Who knows? I mean, fuck, they made, what was it, Battle of L.A. You remember that movie? The aliens came, they wanted water. Water powered all their fucking machines and stuff, you know what I mean? But again, they're so advanced. Why would they need anything that we have unless we're like somebody said in the chat, we're food, you know? Maybe they're like parasites. They go from planet to planet, you know? Who knows? You know, maybe they're like a parasitical alien species like in the movie Thing. You remember the movie Thing? Where they found like an ancient alien ship and the animal that was the creature on it was a parasite, basically taking over people's bodies and stuff. That shit, that movie was freaky, bro. We really don't know what it's going to happen, but you know, we will know in around October when it gets near the sun, or if the Juno probe gets close to 3I Atlas, we'll know for sure what the heck it is. But if it is a comet, it's a unique comet. It's something that we've never seen before. Most comets are like ice, dust clouds. You know, we know it's a comet because it has a long tail. This one is not acting like any comet we've ever seen before. How you doing, Chihuahua Mama? Welcome to the chat. Yeah, I don't know if you've heard about what's going on, Chihuahua Mama. It's there's a they're saying it's a comet. Don't know if it's a comet, but you got one of the leading astrophysicists coming out, Avi Loeb, saying that it might be an alien spacecraft. It's huge. It's 20 miles long. I know Umama, when it came into our solar system from a whole nother solar system, they thought it was an alien spacecraft. But it was like the biggest comet they ever seen. You know, it was flat, long, and it came from a whole another universe. And then went through our universe and headed back towards the universe that it came from. Yeah. Well, yeah, you're welcome. It's called Three Eye Atlas. You could look it up if you want. Do your own research on it and stuff. I've been watching a lot of videos about it. I've been reading a few articles about it and stuff. Let me see what I can find. Hey, Carla. All right, I'll read you what they've already found out about it. Three Eye Atlas. Let's see here. I found an article. If I can find this stupid article, okay. Let's see here. Three Eye Atlas Discovery Overview. Let's see how this comet got its name. FAQ. The NASA funded Atlas asteroid theoretical impact last alert system survey telescope in Rio Janeiro, Chile, first reported observation to the minor planet center comet 3I Atlas on July 1st, 2025. So this was last month when they saw it coming into our solar system. Since the first report, observations made before the discovery were gathered from the archives of 3 different Atlas telescopes. I guess the reason why they call it the Atlas, Three Eye Atlas, is because the Atlas telescopes found it in Rio de Janeiro. No, in Chile. Rio Hurtado. I can't read that shit. Different Atlas telescopes around the world. And Kache, I can't read that crap. Transit facility at Palomar Observatory in San Diego County, California. These pre-discoveries observations extended back to June 14th. So, so this is a fairly new object that they saw coming into our galaxy. June and then July, and now we're in August. So it's going to take it a while before it gets to the sun. They estimate around October 20th or 29th or something like that. Comet 3I Atlas is the third known object from outside our solar system to be discovered. Astronomers have categorized this object as an interstellar because of hyperbolic shape of the orbital path. It does not follow a closed orbital path about the sun. When the orbit of 3I Atlas is tracked into the past, the comet clearly originates from outside our solar system. So this is why it's ringing a lot of alarm bells, because it came outside of our solar system and it moves at a trajectory they don't know. They think it's a comet, but it's a comet like they've never seen before. So you got a lot of leading scientists. I mean, literally astrophysicists, one of the top astrophysicists, basically saying it might not be a comet. It might be something worse or something that we've never seen before. Comet 3I Atlas poses no threat to Earth, so it's not really, the trajectory of it is not nowhere near coming close to Earth. So it's going by the sun, but the way it came in through our galaxy is different than most comets that came in. Like the Umama comet came in at a weird trajectory from another solar system. It's coming straight through our galaxy, like most Hell-Bops and all the other comets that come through our fucking solar system. Or 270 million kilometers. 3I Atlas will reach its closest point to the sun on October 30th. So I was kind of a little bit wrong. So October 30th is when it's going to come close to the sun, where they could actually, see what it might be when it comes close to the sun. But they, like I said earlier, they're talking about, recommissioning the Juno space probe to intercept it before it gets there past Jupiter. So they want to see what they're dealing with, or if, just to research it, even if it ain't extraterrestrial or even being a alien spaceship, they want to know what it is before it gets to the sun so they could, research it. But again, you got like the leading astrophysicist in the world going out raising alarm bells. That y'all should take that very seriously. At the distance of 1.4 AU, which is like 130 million miles, or 210 million kilometers, just inside the orbit of Mars. So they want to get that probe near Mars, so it's coming towards the orbit of Mars. So if they can get that probe, the Juno probe there, they could actually research it to know what they're dealing with. The interstellar comet size and physical properties are being investigated by astronomers around the world. 3i Atlas should remain visible to ground-based telescopes through September 2025, after which it will pass too close to the sun to observe. So they're wanting to observe what it is before it gets close to the sun, so they can, basically research it. It's something new. Nobody's ever seen a comet like this before, and they want to do some, research on it so they can know what they're dealing with when it comes to our galaxy again. If it ain't alien, an extraterrestrial life form, we don't know. It will reappear on the other side of the sun by early December 2025, allowing for renewed observation. So it's going to go around the sun and then reappear in December 2025, so they could reobserve it, I guess, so they could do research on it. So that's basically the whole article, FAQ, I guess the facts of it. 3i Atlas formed in another star system and was somehow ejected into stellar space, which is the space between the stars, for millions or even billions of years. It has drifted until it recently arrived in our solar system. It has been approaching from the general direction of conciliation, I can't read that crap, which is where the central region of the galaxy, let's see, constellation Sargassarus, I guess that's the constellation it came from, which is where the central region of our galaxy, the Milky Way, is located. When discovered, 3i Atlas was about 410 million miles, 670 million kilometers away from the sun, within the orbit of Jupiter. So it's been out in the Milky Way for millions of years, and then it finally got into our galaxy. But I don't know. They say it's traveling faster than the speed of light. So the speed of light, basically. How was it determined that 3i Atlas didn't originate in our solar system? Observations of the comet trajectory show that it's moving too fast to be bound by the sun's gravity, and that it's on what is known as a hyperbolic trajectory. In other words, it does not follow a close orbital path around the sun. It is simply passing through our solar system and will continue its journey into stellar space, never to be seen again. Okay? So that's basically the article, guys, on what they know about it. That's just what they know. They really don't know much about it. I was driving and listening Yeah, I read badly. I'm sorry, guys. I'm dyslexic as fuck, and I gotta wear rose color freaking contact lenses, so I'm dyslexic as hell. Sorry about the bad reading and shit, guys. Sadly, if this guy is wrong, nobody would ever believe him again. Well, I mean, he's not, you know, saying it is an alien life form or it's just a comet. I mean, they don't know. I mean, this is the first time a comet came into our solar system that is not emitting gas or ice. So it's really a unique comet, because it's literally using energy. It's surrounded by a glowing energy that nobody's ever seen before. So that's why they want to research it, or they may. He's not like ruling out the question that it might be just a comet, but a comet that we've never seen before, or extraterrestrial life. We don't know. Yeah, to be here around Halloween, well, at least around our sun, before it comes around the sun again and then travels back out into interstellar space again around December. So it's definitely an interesting time that we're living in because we've never seen anything like it. It will probably rewrite what we know about astrophysiology for the next 50 years, because it's something that we've never seen before. And it could be a new type of energy we've never seen off of a near Earth body, a new comet, but we don't know if it'll screw up with our, if it's emitting energy of some sort, it might screw up our freaking, our internet grid. You never know. I mean, we really don't know much about it until it gets close to the sun. But other than that, man, that's all I got about this, man. It's crazy. It's very interesting. I grew up, in Florida. That was like everything, space, travel, all that stuff was really interesting to me in school because when I was a kid, I always watched the rockets launching and shit in Florida, the space shuttles and stuff. As a kid, we all used to go out after school, most of our heroes back in the day were like astronauts because Neil Armstrong and all them went to the moon, the first moon, Apollo missions to the moon and shit. So, I mean, I don't know why the hell we haven't been able to go to the moon again. I mean, we had the technology in the 60s to go to the moon. Why haven't we been back? It's weird. I don't know. I guess we're too busy squabbling over fucking territory on the earth to do all that kind of stuff, anymore. The people that were alive back then, like Werner von Braun, who knew how to build this type of technology, they don't exist anymore. So I think they're trying to do. I mean, they're building all that SpaceX shit, So I think that they're probably trying to build newer generations of rockets to, reusable platforms to go to Mars or the moon first and then Mars. You think they would have put a moon base already on the moon, dude, with the technology we've had, but it's like we lost all that shit. We lost the drive to go into space. But I guess as our technology advances, I mean, we probably at some point will make bases on the moon and Mars and stuff like that, but it takes so long to get there. I think we'll ever colonize the moon. They're supposed to. I mean, there's people who are buying land on the moon, literally, Carla. There's people who go out and buy like a little section of the moon. Maybe. Maybe not in our lifetime, but maybe in the future. You can only hope we do. I mean, but the way our society is now, I mean, we're literally have gone in reverse. We used to be smart and intelligent, but we've gone in reverse and we become stupider. You know what I mean? We're not teaching what you're supposed to teach in schools. You know what I mean? They don't even teach geography in school to kids anymore. We've evolved backwards. We've gone backwards. Instead of going forwards, we're reverting back to being stupid again. I think that's interesting. I mean, yeah, at some point, I think Elon Musk wanted to put a base on the moon. But there's people who are literally buying real estate on the moon. You could buy a piece of the moon if you wanted to, if it ain't already bought up. You know what I mean? There's people actually buying little spots on Mars and shit. I guess, in sometime in the future, if they ever do colonize Mars, I guess their ancestors, you know, one of their relatives can like cash in on buying property on Mars. People are buying stars and naming stars. I mean, there's all kinds of crazy shit that's going on. You could literally buy a star and name it after somebody, a new star system. I know a friend of mine's. He bought his wife a star basically and named it for his wife. So that star is named after his wife. But again, can Mars sustain life? They say it can, but it's so far from the sun, it would be really hard. The gravity is like half the gravity of Earth. They say they would have a lot of issues unless they can create like, some kind of gravity that matches Earth's gravity for people to sustain life on that planet. Because like if you go into space, right, Carla, it's zero gravity. Astronauts have to literally work out all the time in zero gravity because they're not moving or they're not walking. They don't have the Earth's gravity pulling them down. So they got to constantly work out so their muscles don't get atrophied. If they don't work out, their bones get dense. That's why when astronauts come back to Earth, they have to stay in that little, like a specialized, chamber that is, I forget what it is. It's like like a diving chamber, like when they get the bends, they got to sit in a diving chamber. They got to be in a chamber, a type of chamber like that for like a week before they could ever even acclimate back to the gravity if they've been up there longer than a few months. Because if they just tried to walk, they would fall down or break their bones or whatever, because they've been up in zero gravity for so long. So they would have to create some kind of like gravity device on Mars, just to even have kids and shit, because the way our gravity is, we're not immune to other gravities. You know what I mean? Our bones would basically turn to dust. I think it's like I'm trying to think what it is, like a diving bell. I can't remember, but they use something very similar to it, Carlo. That's when the astronauts come back to Earth, they can't even walk. They have to like basically wheel them out of the aircraft. Although they worked out in space, they still got to be wheeled out of the aircraft because they can't walk. And they got to be put in like a hermetically sealed environment where they reacclimate to our gravity and shit. It's really interesting. I didn't know this before, but when the Challenger crashed, the astronauts might have been alive the whole time. That scary thought. Yeah, it is. I remember when that happened, man. That was sad as hell, bro. They had like a national day of mourning, dude, for everybody, dude. I actually watched that happen, dude. That was scary. I was at a friend of mine's birthday party when I was like 5 years old or 6 years old. It's been a long time. Decompression chamber, yes, that's what I was looking for, Carlos. Sorry, my brain don't work right anymore. Yeah, it's sort of like a decompression chamber, Carla, but with gravity. To get them acclimated back to the gravity of Earth. I should have looked that up. I kind of look stupid now trying to scramble my brain trying to think of decompression chamber. Yeah, but that's the thing though. A lot of people don't realize. I used to do a lot of diving. They just have to put it in a bell. You had to come up slow too. If you got the bends, man, you get air bubbles in your blood system. That shit'll kill you, bro. For real. I did a lot of diving when I was living in the Keys, when I was young. So I got a diver's license, but I can't use it around here for shit. But I used to do a lot of diving when I lived in Florida. The only thing I used to dive for was lobsters. I used to make good money diving for lobsters in Florida. But then I kind of got out of it because, it's really dangerous. I did a lot of spearfishing and shit too. But, dealing with sharks, it's for the birds. I did too. I remember I was getting ready for work. You're probably a lot older than I was. I was a little kid. But yeah, that shit was crazy, dude. When the Challenger blew up like that, man. I remember people just stopping in traffic, people crying and shit, dude, out in the streets. I was little, but I remember that shit, dude. It was, I mean, if you lived in South Florida at the time, it was a big thing in Florida. And nationally, too. They had a whole national day of mourning for the astronauts. I never knew that they had to be put in one of those chambers. That's news to me. Yeah, it's not a decompression chamber, but it's similar to a decompression chamber, Carla. It's like a gravity chamber or something, dude. They have to acclimate slowly back to Earth's gravity for a couple hours or something like that. Maybe a couple days before they can come out of that chamber. Plus that too, there's a lot of radiation in space, that they're getting blasted with radiation. You can talk to most old school astronauts, they'll tell you that the type of paint they had to use on, on rockets and stuff, and the little capsules and stuff, they had to use lead-based painting to basically bounce off the radiation in space. So they're exposed to a lot of radiation too as well, not just the gravity screwing up their bones and their muscles. You know what I mean? So they got to decontaminate the whole crew basically. Compared to what they had back in the 60s, they were using lead-based and asbestos installation on those early rockets and aircraft. Most of those guys got cancer from being in those spacecraft like decades later. I know too that a lot of those early Mercury missions, like in the late 50s and early 60s, they were sending animals up in space, to test, survivability for a human to be in space. The Russians did it too as well. I think they sent a dog up into space to see how long it would live. You know, life support systems and stuff like that. Highly advanced shit. I mean, still to this day, we can't replicate that type of technology. And most of them came from like leading German scientists they captured during the war. So, those early Mercury missions where they were fucking, sending dogs and apes and stuff like that into space to see if they will survive. I think a few failed missions that they had the dog or the ape that passed away. And most of the time it was from radiation. So those first few tests, they sent animals up into space. They learned a lot from that, from, radiation levels, what they needed to coat the aircraft with whenever they sent the spacecraft up into space and stuff like that. Radiation is what really kills a lot of people. There's a lot more radiation in space than you realize. I don't know. I just wanted to go live about this because I think it's a really interesting subject. If you don't know about it, I if you didn't know about it, I hope that you learned something from this stream. You guys could do some further research about Three Eye Atlas and this new comet that came into our solar system. If it is a comet, they're saying it might be a comet, but the way it's acting, it might not be a comet. So we really don't know until like September, when it gets close to Mars, and they could actually use that Juno probe to check it out. We'll see then. Around September, guys, you're gonna find out. It's gonna be national news if they reavert the Juno probe from Jupiter to Mars. We'll know more about it whenever it does pass through there. I think it's really on its last legs. The Juno probe is, or the Juno spacecraft. They're trying to see how much fuel it's got, if it can make it there in time to, instead of just destroying it. Around September, we'll know for sure with this Juno probe, when they send it near Mars to actually see what it's going on with this three-eyed Atlas comet that's coming past the sun here soon. My birthday is in September. Hey, you're going to have a hell of a birthday present when they figure it out. If they can get that Juno space probe to it. I think the whole Earth will be shocked and surprised. It won't be a big birthday surprise for you. It'll be a big birthday surprise for the whole entire planet. Even if it isn't an alien aircraft or, type of spaceship, it's definitely going to be something that we've never seen before, and it'll make us reevaluate everything we know about this, space and how near Earth body objects work and operate in space. Man, I'm not like a scientist or anything. I'm not that intelligent, but I do like following all this stuff about, meteorites and comets and stuff, It's very interesting times to live in, y'all. And it could be a false flag, They might use this whole situation to then enact some kind of like crazy program they've been wanting to do for decades. Who knows? I hope it don't float. Hey, we all float down here, Just jiggle the handle. Like Pennywise said, we all float down here. Done, CM. Well, guys, I just want to do a short live stream about, some very interesting developments in space that we are discovering. And it's fairly new. They just found this stuff in June. And then July, we've, learned more about it because it's traveling almost almost the speed of light, basically. It's moving 100 miles a minute. So it's moving pretty damn fast, and it doesn't act like any comet we've ever seen before in our solar system. Ever since we've been putting up, satellites and stuff, and Hubble telescopes and stuff, and observatories. I mean, astrophysiology is not new. It's been around for a long time. We've had big giant telescopes on Earth for almost 110 years now. But this is the very interesting times we live in. Do you believe in UFOs? I sort of do and I don't, Carla. But it's interesting, though, that whatever this is that's coming into our galaxy, we're going to find out here in a couple months what it's going to be. And I'll give you guys updates on what they find when it gets to September, when it passes Mars. And then when it gets to the sun in October 30th, we're going to be living in some interesting times, guys. It'll rewrite what we know about space already. I mean, you got Stephen Hawkins, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Avi Loeb talking about this stuff online right now. So stay tuned, guys. It's coming soon. I just want to do a quick live stream about this whole situation. Yes, I will keep you updated, Chihuahua. I will. I'll let everybody know around October when it does, or September when they finally, if they do get the Juno probe, or they get the go-ahead from the American government to get the Juno probe moving away from Jupiter. I'll let you guys know, because they'll show it on basically astronomy forums. I'll let you guys know and keep you guys updated. It's very interesting. If you don't take it from me, guys, go out and do this research yourselves. Read up on about it. Look up the scientists that are involved in it, so you guys know more. So you guys can stay informed about this whole situation with 3i Atlas that's coming in. It's always good to always research it and do more fact checking on this yourself, guys, and and checking it out. It's a new comet we've never seen before. It's not acting like any comet we've ever seen. It's exuding a glowing energy. It's very interesting. Okay, guys, I'm gonna shut it down. Thank you for coming, everybody. Shout out to Carla and friends, Chihuahua Mama, Zeus. Thanks for showing up, Zeus, my old troll buddy. Let's see who else showed up. Curious as fuck showed up. Freaking fabulous showed up. Shout out to all you ladies that showed up. Baba Yaba. Crystal G. Sorry I didn't say hi to you, Crystal. If I didn't, Steve Yoakum, stroke him. I don't think he does much on his channel anymore. Okay, guys. You guys take it easy. Thanks for showing up. Bye-bye.